All right, so I just stumbled on a good example of something you can ask Claude to do for you if you're using the MCP server to run commands here. That's just basically doing the inverse of something I already set up. So I set up a backup script, backups.sh. I can show you that over here. So I can dump that file out. So I set up this script. I don't want to write the reverse. So I wanted it to do that. And what is this for? Well, over in my script debugger application, they have themes here. And I set up two separate themes, but I'd like to make a copy of these or back these up. And there's no way to do that I could find. So I went digging in the file system here, and I found a path where that's at inside of library application support. There's a user themes directory. Inside of here are the two themes that I created. So I thought, I'll back these up, and then I'd like to have the reverse to restore them so I could restore them onto my other account on the same machine, as well as if I were to reformat my machine, it'd be nice to be able to restore them in that case. And so I thought, hey, great task for Claude to do. I'll give it the backup script. I'll give it the path to the backup script, and then I'll let it do the rest to create the restore script. And so that's what I did over here. So I pasted in the path to the file because I know Claude understands how to read a file with the run command server that I set up here. And so I asked it to go ahead and read in the file and create the inverse for me, a restore.sh script. So the first thing, of course, it did was it catted out the contents of the path that I gave it, read in the file then, and then immediately went to work on creating the inverse of that script. And interesting enough, it did this side-by-side comparison here in this code block where it showed the file as is and the new file kind of lining things up like a diff. That's a bit hard to see. So I'm actually going to switch over to the web UI for Claude so you can see that easily. So here's the same conversation in the web UI where you can clearly see left is my script backups, right is the restore script. And just by perusing through this here, it basically did everything I did. It set a variable here for a couple directories, and then it set a variable for the destination directory, which it did correctly off of the inverse of the backup directory over here, wherever I did that at. Okay, yeah, down here. So here is the destination directory, which is the opposite of the source directory on the backup script. Did a good job there. So it set that into a variable here. It then checked to make sure that the backup directory exists, and it bails if it doesn't, which is good. Thumbs up. It actually prints out that message if it fails to find that, because it can't copy something or restore it if it doesn't exist in terms of a backup. And then next up, it proposed creating the destination directory, which I didn't want, because if that destination directory is missing, that to me might mean the application is missing or not installed or got moved somewhere else. And so in that case, just bail out is what I want. So I made a request for that in a moment here to change this one part. But then the last step here is correct. It just basically does the inverse copy here from the backup directory to the destination directory. That's great. It does have this useless comment here that says it restored the items. I don't think that's necessary, but it's fine. It doesn't hurt anything. All right, so now I asked it to follow up here with making sure it aborts if the theme destination directory is missing too. I said just abort in that case. And then I also instructed it to go ahead and create the file on disk. So go ahead and write that file out to disk right next to the other one, basically. And that's what it did here. So it tried one command here with run script, and that failed. I don't care why. It did it again then with run command in this case, and this actually worked. So essentially, it's just echoing out the file that it created here into the restore.sh script file here. And it was even polite enough to go ahead and make that file executable for me. I didn't even ask for that. I don't even think it checked that on the original file. So it just knew that I probably wanted that. That's great. All right. And so once it did that, of course, it says, I'm done. I stopped reading what's over here. And then I came over to the command line here. So here is the restore script. It created this on disk for me. It looks good to go. So now if I want to test this out here, I'll go ahead and trash everything in the actual directory. So that is the destination directory. Over here is the backup directory. You can see here, I've already got a backup from my backup script here. So I want these to restore over here. And so, yeah, let's go ahead and run the restore script and see what happens here. Look good to me. All right, let's list out files here. Yeah, that looks great. So Claude did exactly what I wanted it to do. Probably saved me 5-10 minutes of time just fumbling through inverting the backup script, which of course is great to save 5 to 10 minutes or maybe even longer if I had some problems along the way. So definitely a good use case for Claude, and especially for the run command MCP server. If you haven't looked at that, just instead of needing to copy and paste things in and out, instead of pasting the backup script in, it could then turn that into a restore script and you could copy it and put it on disk wherever you want it. Instead of that last hassle, just have it do everything. Have it make the script and have it write it to disk. It's a great way to use MCP commands.